Hi everyone, welcome back to Ponderosa North for the love of Bonanza. Today I'm going to focus on favorite Little Joe episodes. I'm going to start with one that is actually in the top 10 of all Bonanza episodes, and that's The Quality of Mercy. Little Joe finds out that his best friend has killed his father-in-law and is just eaten up with what is right and what is wrong. Here he is sort of confronting his friend Seth, who has killed his father-in-law, and Joe knows about it. And Joe is just totally eaten up with guilt and doesn't know what to do and can't really talk to anybody. And look at his face. He's just so distraught. And the thing is, he knows what's right and he knows what's wrong. I don't know why he struggled so much. I guess because his friend convinced him. Great scene, father and son scene here. It's sort of a must-see scene, stands out. He's having nightmares about it. Here he is talking to his friend Sarah, whose father was killed, and he talks to Adam about it, and he confides in Adam first. He tells Adam first, which is unusual. Usually he talks to his father. So it's sort of a must-see episode, The Quality of Mercy. The next one I'm going to talk about is Between Heaven and Earth. This is, it's an episode about fear, but mostly it's an episode about being afraid of fear. Little Joe is puma hunting, and he gets up on this rock with his rifle to get a better vantage point, and when he gets up there, he throws his rifle above him so he can climb higher. When he gets up there and looks down, he has this horrible vertigo happening. He doesn't realize that how fearful of heights he actually is, and it's absolutely paralyzing to him. And because of this fear that he doesn't understand, he doesn't know why he's fearful, he just turns into this venomous, horrible person. He's snapping at Hoss, and he's making his best friend Mitch miserable, and he's biting at his father. He's just an absolute horrible mood and awful. And then he decides that he's got to get over this fear. I don't want to give it away to you, but it's a really well written episode, and great close-ups in this episode. I'm leery to show you what happens at the end in case you haven't seen it. I do have pictures here, but I'm not going to show you. If you haven't seen Between Heaven and Earth, see it. It's very good. And apparently Michael struggled shooting it because apparently he was afraid of heights. So good on him to get through that. The next episode is The Other Son, where Clay comes to town. They don't know who he is, but he actually has a picture of Little Joe's mother. And it turns out that this is the child that his mother had out of wedlock, Clay. He sort of strikes a bond with this young man, and they go out drinking, and pulque they're drinking. And the next morning, Little Joe is not feeling at his best. Here he is talking to his brothers, and Hoss is, eating raw bacon and stuff like that, and his brothers just let him have it. It's a really good episode. It's interesting because it goes back, in time and sort of explains a few things about Little Joe's mother. Like I said, I'm not going to give away everything. I'm just suggesting that you see these ones. These are my favorite Little Joe episodes. The next one is Twilight Town, and in surveys that they do with Bonanza fans, this is one of the really most watched episodes. I think because it has sort of a spooky sort of Wi-Fi feel to it. But Little Joe is in the desert. Looks like he's they're shooting in Joshua Tree in California, and he is stranded in the desert. And he comes upon this deserted town. He passes out, and the next morning he's greeted by all these town folk, and they're being very nice to him. And the reason they're being very nice to him is because they want him to sort of help them fight a terrorist. But the thing is, when his family come to rescue him, it's an abandoned town again. So we really never know if he was imagining all this, or if it was true, or it's quite good and well written. So when you get a chance, just watch Twilight Town. You can see it on YouTube. The next one is The Tin Badge. Sort of a coming of age. He's Little Joe. He's sick of being Little Joe, and he has a confrontation with his father. He's been offered a job in Rubicon to be sheriff. And he's like 25 years old, and his dad is still pretty protective of him and advises him not to. And he comes in, and of course he tells Hoss and Adam, and they just have a big yuck about it. What are you talking about? He's just a little kid. He can't be sheriff of Rubicon. So it just forces him, see, I told you, everybody, they won't give me any credit. I'm a man, I'm not a kid, but I can sort of relate because I'm the youngest in my family, and it's true. Once you are the baby of the family, you are always baby of the family, even though you're 60 years old. So that's another great episode to see, The Tin Badge. This next episode is called A Matter of Circumstance. I have seen this episode twice. I saw it originally when it first aired, and it's always stuck in my brain. And I thought, I got to go back and watch it again. And I've only watched it 2 times because it is so traumatic. This episode, Little Joe is left alone. He is trampled by a horse, and he's got a broken leg. It's an absolutely horrific episode that you think he's really going to die. They're going to kill him off in this one. And what happens is he gets this infection in his arm. And I watched this when I was 11 years old. And we didn't see stuff like this. We see it now all the time. We're numb to it now. But then when I was 11 years old and this came out, and they showed Little Joe's arm, I didn't even know what to say. And he goes into the library and he brings out a medical book, and he's reading, well, what should I do to help this? And it's amputation. Amputation? What are you talking about? At 11, and because there's Little Joe and I love Little Joe, I went into my mother and I said, What's amputation? I didn't know it. What was the other thing they called it? They had these words that they were talking about medically, and my mom was like, "What are you talking about? Where are you getting this from?" But yeah, A Matter of Circumstance is a really, really traumatic episode, and it's very frustrating because you think that he's never going to be rescued, even though he's at home. He's in the safety of his own home. Anyway, those are my my suggested Top Joe episodes. So give them a look-see, and we'll see you next time on Ponderosa North for the love of Bonanza. Bye for now.